Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Who are these people?
Notice me, senpai. Notice me.
Don't be rude.
All right. Welcome to another episode of Pro Wrestling Talk. I'm Angel Rivera alongside Miss.Witchy Perfect. Alex Knight will not be here because he's at Dodger Stadium watching the Yankees lay an egg. So, and they're losing, what was it, 4-0 or 5-0?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. Sorry.
That's fine. I mean, he's out there. Looks like it's now 7-0. Oh my God! Look.
Oh wow. Dodgers or Yankees?
The Dodgers are winning 7-0. So he's watching the Yankees lay an egg here. So.
I bet Alex is pissed.
Oh yeah, man. He. Let me see if he wrote me recently, but no. But yeah, it's not good. So I'm glad I'm not watching. But oops. But yeah. Other than that, I mean, he's not going to be with us tonight. He'll be out there in Los Angeles, Dodger Stadium. He lives in Los Angeles, but all right. So it'll be just us two, and let's see, what do we got to talk about here? Hey, CBC is here. Thank you very much. Make sure you like if you haven't already. So let's see, where do we start? We got a lot to talk about. So
I was gonna say, do you want to review Double or Nothing real fast?
Yeah, we'll just get that over with because neither of us actually watched it, but we'll basically discuss the results and go with it.
I kind of was listening to Jim Cornette before we came on here, and he was kind of talking about it. So let's get to this mud rack.
All right. So the pre-show matches doesn't matter.
That's right, CBC.
Mega Bane lost again. So even though
I don't see, because I don't watch it, but I don't see what Brian Last is talking about. He kind of likes Megan Bane and thinks she's going to be something. I disagree. I don't think anyone in AEW is going to be a thing.
Well, I mean, right now the women's division is just focused around Toni Storm and Mercedes Moné. So any other woman's probably going to get beat just to prepare, for those two, and for that big match at All In, which I'm going to get to in a second. So She lost again, even though she looks like she could be something, but it's not going to happen for her. She keeps losing.
Mhm.
Let's see. Bandido and AJ Fox defeated Los Titanes de Aire, Hologram, and Commander. And they also, oh no, I'm sorry. Bandido, AR Fox, and Los Titanes de Aire, Hologram, and Commander defeated RPG Vice, Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta, and CRU, Action Andretti, and Leo Rush by pinfall. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to the Owen Hart tournament final for the females. And Mercedes Moné defeated Jamie Hayter by pinfall. Of course she did, because she doesn't lose.
Yeah, I was gonna say, has Monet ever lost? Or Moan, as Jim Cornette calls her?
Since she got to AEW, I don't think she's lost. And she lost once, but it was in Japan. And of course she didn't take the fall. Somebody else did. So
Yeah. Wow.
So technically she lost once in Japan, but since she got to AEW, she hasn't lost. So next match, so that she wins the Owen Hart Tournament Cup and the championship, and she'll face the winner. She'll face the AEW Women's World Champion at All In. So that's the stipulation. The next match, FTR, Witch Stokely defeated Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness, the commentator, by technical submission, whatever that means. And this match seemed random. Nigel McGuinness is a commentator. They obviously copied what WWE did with Pat McAfee. So
yeah, but I mean, Pat McAfee actually has, he has recognition. People know who he is, and this just seems like a lame attempt at, oh well, WWE's doing it. Okay, then let's do it. It's just a lame attempt to try to be relevant. I mean, this is just a shot in the dark, and ugh.
All right, yeah. The next match, Ricochet defeated Mark Briscoe in a stretcher match. It basically ended up being an ambulance match because they stuck him in an ambulance. So
yeah, so much for the stretcher.
Yeah.
I just they were talking about this. They were previewing this on Jim Cornette's, and he's just like, "Why does it have to be a stretcher match?
I don't know.
What significance is it?"
I don't know. It made no sense because they only had one match, and that was a 6-man tag. And then all of a sudden, now they having a stretcher match. Like they've been feuding for months, and they're ready to kill each other. So it made no sense.
That was what they were asking. They were like, "This makes no sense." I mean, I don't understand. Like, why do they really want to end each other's career and send each other to the hospital? I mean, I don't know.
That's what a stretcher match implies because they're going to the hospital. The loser. All right. The next match has the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, with MVP and MJF defeating the Sons of Texas, Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara by pinfall.
Obviously, they didn't want him to have the belts.
Yeah, that's the AEW World Tag Team title match. So, did you see Dustin kind of crashing out on Twitter? I'm not sure you saw that.
No, I didn't see that.
Well, everybody keeps asking him about Cody, and he got sick of it, so he started crashing out. Basically, I'm a living legend in this business, and blah 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 blah. I'm like, Dustin, you're not.
I mean, you are, but I mean, look at your gimmicks. Your gimmicks were shit. Literally, Vince McMahon had a gay encounter, and out came Goldust. So if that's what you call a legend in the sport, sure, okay.
Vince called it androgynous, but technically that's a fancy word for gay.
Why not just say gay?
Yeah, Dustin told that story, and it's like, hey, I needed a job, so androgynous. Okay, I'll be androgynous. He looked up in the dictionary. He's like, why didn't you just say gay, Vince? Because he had a falling out. He had a falling out with his dad in WCW as the booker, so he left and he needed a job. So Vince like, oh yeah, you're gonna be Goldust. He's androgynous, blah blah blah. Like, okay, he didn't realize it meant gay, so I was like, oh well, this is gonna be interesting. All right,
I didn't know that either until you told the story. I was just like, but why not just say gay?
All right, so. I don't get the booking of Bobby Lashley. He's huge. He's bigger than 99% of the AEW roster, and he's not in the AEW World Title match at All In. Why? Why is he not AEW World Champion?
I know, it blows my mind. Yeah, it blows the mind because
his booking blows my mind.
Well, him and Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah.
I'm turning into Hulk Hogan, brother. No, Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley are your biggest legends, and they know how to wrestle, and yet you keep them on the mid card for some fucking dumb reason.
Tag team division. Even though Bobby's nearly 50, I mean, he's still in great shape. He can still go, unlike John Cena. We'll get to him. So he can still go. So why not put the world title on him and have it run with it for a year and a half, and let him beat everybody on the roster? But Tony has an obsession with smaller guys, and that's why usually these big guys end up in the mid card or getting beat by the smaller guys. So
yeah, I mean, he should be at least champ, not Dick the Bruiser or Boozer.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he's been. I don't know what they're going with him.
And the Four Horsemen.
I'll get to that match in a second. He was in the next match has Kaguya Okada defeating Speedball Mike Bailey by pinfall for the Continental Championship. Okay.
Oh, good. Because Mike Speedball.
Yeah, that means
a Continental champion, right?
And that Continental Championship means something apparently, where people want to challenge for it. But the Coke Speedball guy lost. All right, so the next match has the women's world title match. Timeless Toni Storm. By the way, I'm sick of that gimmick. I mean, it ran its course a year ago. Timeless Toni Storm with Luther defeating Mina Shirakawa by pinfall. And at the end of the match, they had a lesbian encounter.
Yeah.
Of course, they kissed.
I mean, this is just appealing to who? They're trying to get lesbians on the show? Because, I mean,
horny teenagers?
No offense, horny guy teenagers who think that two women who want to fuck each other want to fuck them. No, guys. The point of a lesbian is they are attracted to other women, not men.
Are you ready for the pay-per-view? Which one?
You mean Money in the Bank, maybe?
Or yes. Worlds Collide. There's like two of them next Saturday. I'm assuming, we're ready for it. We're going to preview both of them in a minute. Mm-hmm. And the next match was the Anarchy in the Arena match, or football field fuckery, as Jim Cornette once called it. Well, even though this wasn't the football field. This was in the arena. Kenny Omega, Swerve Strickland, Willow Nightingale, and the Ops, Samoa Joe and Powerhouse Hobbs and Katashuri Shibata with Prince Nana defeated the Death Riders, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Marina Schaefer, and Wheeler Yuta, and the Young Bucks by pinfall. This was a...
Thank the goddess. But, I mean, if I could just add a little tweak. I did see the clips of that stupid Marina Schaefer fucking put a staple gun into Swerve's mouth and called that wrestling. And what did I tell you? I said, this is just as fucking as bad as the fucking wrestler who literally takes his dick out and literally pisses in another wrestler's mouth. And I use it loosely.
Swerve disallowed her to do it. He was kneeling there and she put it in there.
Yeah,
and she's looking around.
Like dead to the world, and she's like, "Oh, just open his mouth."
She's looking around, milking it. She's milking it to the crowd, looking around, and Swerve is just doing this and not getting up, not slapping the staple out of her hand, nothing. Right. Just like allowing her to do this.
This is different than when they had the syringe in the mouth. What the fuck?
You got a compliment
stupid.
Here.
I know. Thank you.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's not a good. I mean, I didn't see it, but I can imagine how bad this match was.
I saw the highlights on X.
Yeah, I saw that clip. Oh, and in the beginning of the match, for some reason, Kenny Omega got in the mic, cut his horrible promo where he's talking, even though he wasn't even blown up. The match ain't even started yet.
Right. I think Jim Cornette talked about that. He's like, he didn't even wrestle yet. He was all blown up.
Yeah, and he's talking, and then he's like, "Oh, let's play some music." And they played "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor" from like the early 2000s. God. And it was
that song when it came out.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible timing too, because this is the night where they had the Owen Hart finals, and Owen Hart literally died by hitting the floor from like 100 feet up in the air.
Oh no!
So it's terrible timing. Like, what are they doing? Like, why would Tony Khan allow that? It's like, dude, we have in the Owen Hart tournament finals tonight. And you want to play that song? You're not playing that fucking song. Pick any other song in the world. You're not playing
Any
that
other
one.
song, but let the bodies hit the floor, and then that's how Owen Hart died. Yeah,
Yeah.
good one, Tony Khan.
Yeah, and his as a widow, Martha, still talking about how great AEW is and how great it is to Owen Hart's legacy. I'm like, no,
No. And Vince is
bullshit.
not even on there. Vince has nothing to do with WWE, and you're literally pissing away Owen's memory.
Unfortunately, she has control over it because she was his widow, and the rest of the Hart family can't do anything about it. But
No, but I'm sure Brett hates it.
oh yeah, I'm sure.
But anyone who knows Bret Hart, ask him to come on this show. We will ask him ourselves. Hey, are you cool with that Owen Hart tournament? And the fact that they had the song "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor" and your brother hit the floor.
What's funny is Brett told the story about his only appearance in AEW. You happened to be in the same town, and his agent was like, "Hey, AEW wants you to make an appearance. Here, it's gonna pay you a bunch of money, will you?" He was like, "Yeah, what is it?" It's like, "Oh, it's this new wrestling company." He had no idea what AEW even was. He made an appearance that night.
Right.
It's
Well,
like,
and he had asked Tony Khan if he could come back in a managerial position and teach these younger guys, the younger talent, and they're like, no, we don't want, we just want you to appear. Well,
yeah,
then
this one
fuck you, go
appearance.
suck a dick.
Well, I'm sure he got a nice payday out of it. Then he
I'm
hasn't
sure, yeah,
invested.
Brett is counting the Benjamins, but I
Yeah.
mean, there's all Brett and Kurt were always the symbolism of wrestling. They knew how to wrestle. They knew the wrestling business because they had been wrestling since they were this tall. When
If fucking
Bret
if
Hart said
fucking
that.
if fucking Bret Hart offered, to run a training program for my wrestlers, I would hire him on the spot.
On the spot, I'd be like,
Yeah.
yes, Brett, I want you to teach my younger talent. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Did you just see that? I got Bret Hart as a trainer.
Yeah, it's like,
And I'd be bragging to everybody. I'd be
why
like,
wouldn't
fuck
you?
yeah.
Instead, who's their trainer? What's his name? I forget right now.
It's not Jake, is it? Please tell me it's not Jake.
No. It's
Okay.
somebody else. He worked with Cody at one point, the Nightmare Factory. It's Cody's wrestling school. I forget who it is right now, but whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm forgetting, so it doesn't really matter. The
Not
next
Dustin,
match,
right?
no, it's not Dustin. It's somebody else. I assume Dustin's involved in training, but I
mean, doesn't
don't
he have
know.
a school that was open?
Yeah, he was working with Cody in the Nightmare Factory, which is Cody's wrestling school. So I don't know who is actually training these younger guys to actually. I think nobody is, honestly, because look at how horrible AEW is with their wrestling.
That's true,
All
and the booking is outrageous.
right, so the next match on the card has the Don Callis family, Konosuke Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, and Josh Alexander with Don Callis and Lance Archer defeating Paragon, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong by pinfall, or the AKA the Undisputed Era in WWE. So they now call themselves Paragon, whatever that is.
I don't think they know what a paragon they are.
Yeah.
Uh,
Adam Cole is so skinny and tiny. I'm like, where was that?
hang
The
out Adam
WWE?
Page. I mean, the
No,
same
Adam
thing,
Cole. I'm talking about Adam
But
Cole.
Adam Cole
Yeah.
is, I mean, it's
He's
just
so
like
skinny. It's like, where's the lifting of weights in WWE? His body type is kind of like Shawn Michaels. Not big but not small either. That type of body type. And now in AEW, he's completely lost whatever muscle he had, and just skinny. He's just skin and
do
bones.
they even acquire them to go to a gym anymore?
Probably not. Tony is not. He's smaller the better to him, because
That was always the thing back in the 80s and the 90s is, oh well, we have to go to a new town, but we have to check out where the gym is because we have to go to the gym three or four times a week. We have to lift weights, we have to do this, we have to look like a professional athlete. I'll give Logan Paul his props. He does look like a professional athlete, but just being on YouTube does not make one a professional wrestler. Sorry, Logan Paul. Anyway, but yeah, like, I don't know. Do these guys even go to do they even know what a gym is? Or do they just run around like chickens with their head cut off?
Yeah, at this point, I don't know. All right, the main event of this show.
That wasn't the main event. Call me
They
Sean.
had 11. No, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches in the main card, or 9 matches. 9, yeah. So they had 9 matches in the main card, and this is the main event. Hangman Adam Page defeating Will Ospreay by pinfall in the men's Owen Hart tournament final. So he gets an AEW world. The Hangman gets a world title shot at All In against Moxley.
So Hangnail Adam Page gets a title shot, and Ospreay's just see you later. They pushed him back down the card. Oh, good for you, Ospreay.
He's twisting in the wind, pretty much, for getting into All In. I'm not sure what he's going to do. Because, let's see. Here's the thing. On the dirt sheets, allegedly, both Hangman and Will Ospreay were politicking to Tony Khan for the other guy to win. Not for themselves, for the other guy to win.
Yeah.
I'm like,
hey
what?
Guys, how about you just go suck a dick and call it a day? Okay, I'm sorry, but
usually I hear guys politicking for themselves with the booker, not for the other opponent. Yeah, it's like they're politicking for themselves to win, not for your opponent. Like, oh, look at how unselfish I am. I want my opponent to win. Like, yeah, neither of these guys are main eventers because they would politic.
And yet they were in the main event.
Yeah.
They're not main eventers, but they were in the main event for this stupid fucking pay-per-view that hardly anybody watched because, again, it's through Prime, Amazon Prime, but you also have to pay $50 to watch this garbage, which you and I won't do because I ain't got the money, first of all.
I figured that since I already had Prime, I heard it as, oh, great, so I can just watch it there and actually do a proper review, but nope, it's still got to pay $50 on top of the cost of Prime. So really, it comes out to like $60, maybe $62 a month. I mean, not a month, but for the pay-per-view.
Yeah. Well, actually, that would be a month because they have a pay-per-view every month.
They have a monthly pay-per-view, yeah.
So and it's it's almost $150 for Prime every year. I don't do the month-to-month thing, but that's a little pricey.
Yeah.
And money I don't have.
And it's not worth my time because
it's not worth my time.
If they actually, just like WWE does on Peacock, you get a pay-per-view, you pay the $10 and you get the pay-per-views, basically at $10. It's like, that's a good deal. And especially WWE, it's mostly good. It's not, it's some bad stuff there. I'm not a WWE mark, but there's a lot of bad stuff there. But
there's been a lot of bad things happening in WWE. Let's not but AEW seems to have everything is bad. Yeah. Not one thing is good that I could see or that I want to watch.
So the women's match, main event, the women's world title match is Mercedes Moné versus Timeless Toni Storm. I'm not sure if it's title for title because Mercedes still has a TBS title and Toni has the world title. So it might be title for title. I don't know. And I'm thinking that women's match is going to go on last. Because Toni loves Toni Storm and Mercedes Moné. I guarantee you that match is going to be the main event.
Of course. And I wouldn't be surprised if they kiss like lesbians. Because that's what he's into.
Obviously,
guys, lesbians don't like men. Lesbians don't like men. Get it through your head. Lesbians don't like men.
I wouldn't go with Hangman Adam Page and Jon Moxley last. I mean, that'd be a terrible way to go off the air.
Yeah, because none of them can wrestle either. Hangnail, Adam Page, and then
and Dick Moxley, the champion.
Dick the Boozer.
Yeah, I mean it's that. First of all, I wouldn't book that match. I would have put Ospreay in there if I had Ospreay beat him because he's over with that fan base at least. Not generally,
what about
but with that fan base.
Or MJF has he gone off the rails again?
He's stuck in the mid card.
Of course he is, they pushed him back down.
Yeah, he's stuck with the Hurt Syndicate. He just joined them like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, he was. Now he's stuck with. He joined the Hurt Syndicate, so he joined the black man's group basically, even though he's white. Tell me how that makes sense.
It doesn't.
Instead of having Ricochet join them, that would have made some sense. See, he's black. They're black. Maybe it helps him get over more instead of crashing out on Twitter every 5 seconds and working. Wow. I'm not sure. Yeah, that makes no sense. That's where MJF is at. Instead, it should be MJF versus Will Ospreay for the title. That'd be better. I'd be definitely a main event. Instead, it's like it's Hangman Adam Page and Moxley. And that match, I wouldn't go last for that match.
No, I wouldn't either.
They have no choice to put Tony Storm and Mercedes last. I mean, at this point, they have to go on last.
If they want it to be a decent looking, at least pay-per-view. And again, I don't foresee it. Tony doesn't know how to book. You need to give what Jim Cornette said several months ago. You need to give the books over to someone else, Tony, because this ain't it.
Who?
And you wonder why you're Tony Khan. Yeah, you know. Brian Last, I think, said it. Brian Last.
I know. Yeah, I mean, who's going to get the book in AEW? Because
anybody other than, I mean, give it to a legend, you know, give it to Brett or give it to Jake the Snake. Even Jake the Snake would be better than fucking Tony Khan.
Jake was briefly on the WWF creative team in '96. Briefly, he was on Vince's creative team, but he got fired because he showed up like 9 hours late to a taping.
Yeah,
he was fucked up on drugs, so Vince fired him, of course, off the creative team. So,
well, I'm sure that but I mean, even Brett could book better than that.
Yeah, I mean, anybody could. I mean, hell, I mean, Paul Heyman booked at one point, but he's in WWE. There's no way he's going to AEW. But
yeah, I don't think he would do that to Triple H or Paul.
No. Who's out there that's a booker? Because Jim Cornette ain't going to do it.
That's true.
He's the other one I could think of, who's a booker, and
but he would not dare. I mean, what it was a few months ago where there was like, AEW has withdrawn any invitation for Mr. Cornette to come to the tapings, and he's like, I never fucking wanted that in the first place, dumbasses.
Yeah, I didn't ask for that.
I didn't ask to be on AEW, and I wouldn't go on AEW even if you paid me.
So that's all in. They're setting up a couple matches there. No, excuse me, that's Double or Nothing, and they're setting up a couple matches there for All In. It's going to be at the Globe Field. This is Texas Rangers home baseball stadium. So they're in Texas, yeah. So they're expecting to draw at least 30,000. That's their hope.
That's their hope.
Yeah.
You guys need a new dream, guys, because you're dreaming at this point.
Hey, Indy is here for a bit. But yeah, I mean, there's no way that they're. Unless Tony Khan just buys a bunch of tickets and gives them away. That's the only way they can probably get the 30,000. Just give them away. He buys.
Yeah, I was gonna say for like nothing. I don't. Yeah. Can you even give them away at this point? Everyone's like, I ain't watching your shitty show.
I'm sure some people would like to go. It's like basically the WrestleMania, All In.
Yes.
So yeah, that was Double or Nothing. I mean, the booking makes no sense. Their Anarchy and Rita match was just embarrassing, I mean, so it's just a garbage match. Oh, they had like 4 different, camera like screens, it was 4 screens, and it's impossible to see what's going on because they were so small, try to fit it on the screen. So,
oh wow.
Just garbage. It was just garbage anyways. They're fighting in the crowd. They're throwing weapons at each other.
Oh, because there's a lawsuit going to happen.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's Double or Nothing. So, right now, let's get rid of that. So, Worlds Collide is the... in fact, Worlds Collide was the event that WCW held with AAA, like, in the early 90s. That was the initial... Like, they did a few Worlds Collides. WCW did in the early 90s, and Triple H was, I was a huge fan of those shows, so he brought it back when they bought AAA, WWE. So, Worlds Collide is going to be apparently exclusive to YouTube. It's not on Peacock, which is interesting that they decided to do that. So, it's going to be in Los Angeles, or Inglewood to be exact. And there's 5 matches booked so far, but I'm sure they're probably going to add a few more because there's also some TNA talent coming in too to do the show. So
well, I think it's pretty much set in stone that Roxanne Perez is going to sink or swim, and she's on Raw, and then Julia is on SmackDown. So sink or swim to both of them.
And Stephanie Vacour is going to be on Raw. In fact, she has a Money in the Bank qualifying match on Raw.
I think she's going to be something. Now she was in, TNA, and they made her drop her title so that she could come up to the main roster.
She's in NXT. In NXT, you meant to say.
But that whole Roxanne Perez trying to get into the, Judgment Day, What do you think about that? Let me ask you that.
They're trying to get her over, and they're trying to hide her in the Judgment Day. It seems like because right now she's trying to get in with Dominic. So
Yeah, she kept saying, "Hey Dominic, do you want my nuggets, my chicken nuggets? You want
it's
my
an inside.
nuggets?" He's like, "Yeah."
Those chicken nuggets are an inside joke because basically Dominic only eats chicken nuggets or chicken tenders. That's all he eats.
Really?
So that's kind of an inside joke, when they bring out chicken nuggets for him. So he in interviews and podcasts, he said that's all he eats. So he's a very picky eater. So he just eats chicken nuggets or chicken tenders. So it's like an inside
Interesting.
joke. It's like so yeah, they're trying to get her into the Judgment Day and have like the
It's almost like she's trying to take over for Liv Morgan.
like that.
Yeah, Liv Morgan.
To
Because
book
Liv
that
Morgan
personal
was
drama.
out, she was doing her Hollywood thing. I don't even know what the fucking movie she's supposed to be in. I really don't care.
Yeah, it's a movie based out of Hong Kong, so it's like an independent movie she was in.
So she was away, and of course they're trying to stick Roxanne Perez in there, and I'm just like, why are they trying to do that? It's almost like what's going to happen. They're trying to do what they did with Liv Morgan and Dominic
and Rhea Ripley,
and they're trying to do that with Roxanne Perez.
It's like kind of a repeat of what they did a couple of years ago, or a year ago, whatever it was.
It was about a year ago, almost.
So, did I pick? Oh no, I accidentally. Hold on. All right, here we go. So we have 5 matches booked. I'm sure that I had 1 or 2 matches. So the first match listed here is Legado de Fantasma, Santos Escobar, Angel Humberto versus El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., Pagano, and Psycho Clown. That's a 6-man tag.
Okay. I have no idea what you just fucking said, so I'm just going to pick one. Whatever you said the second time, the latter.
Yeah, these are the AAA guys, and I'm sure they're going to put them over.
The AAA guys, of course.
El Hijo de Dr. Wagner
I used to know
Jr.
Juventud Guerrera, Rey Mysterio, Silver King, whatever his fucking name was. Psychosis was his name. I like that guy. And La Parka, he was a pretty cool guy. He did the stuff with the chairs.
Yeah,
and the kids.
I've watched AAA on their YouTube channel occasionally. I just don't remember a lot of these names because I don't really pay attention. I just checked it out. So El Hijo Dr. Wagner Jr. is Dr. Wagner's son, basically. El Hijo means son. So the son of Dr. Wagner, basically, trying to say.
I didn't remember the first one.
And Psycho Clown. Psycho Clown is literally a guy like kind of Doink the Clown. He just put on.
Really like Doink the Clown.
Yeah, that's how I would compare him to.
Someone really liked Matt Bourne back then.
Yeah. All right.
When he was Doink.
The next match listed here is Chad Gable versus El Hijo de Vikingo, which is the guy that Triple H is pushing strong because he showed up at WrestleMania and he showed up again on Raw Monday night. So they're pushing him strongly.
Well, and he interfered in the match between Chad Gable and was it?
Yeah, the Money in the Bank qualifying
match.
Yeah. Gable, Penta, and
and Penta won, I think.
Yeah, Penta won, so he's qualified
so he's
for the Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank, yeah.
That's the spot where Gable nearly broke his neck on that move. Penta
that was really scary. I actually watched that, well, not live, but after.
Yeah.
When I did watch Raw, I was kind of like, oh my gosh. He's really lucky that he was able to bounce back up from that,
He's lucky he didn't break his neck.
No, he's very lucky.
Yeah, it's dumb. That's a dumb spot. All right, so this has a single match for the AAA Mega Championship, which is their world title, basically. Even though the current champion is Alberto El Patron, or Alberto Del Rio in WWE. So he's defending the title against Vikingo tonight, in fact. So, in fact, their AAA pay-per-view started right now. So they kind of gave away their finish to that match when they announced it for the AAA championship.
Oh, oops.
So, I don't know why they did that. I mean, they could have announced it later after he won, and then make it a title match, but whatever. All right, so Hijo de Vikingo is going to win. Chad Gable doesn't win. He wins. He only wins when he's a Grande Americano. So that's the only time he wins.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows. If you don't know by now, I mean, literally, it's, come on, guys. You know it's Chad Gable, the Grande
Yeah.
Americano. He's just trying to be a lucha libre, and you're a white guy from
Yeah.
Minnesota too. He was like, "Oh, we're gonna have a match in Minnesota," and he's like, "But that's my home state." I'm like, "Oh God, why are you from Minnesota? If I
Yeah.
were you, I
No,
would not
but
tell anybody that."
Chad is a great worker. It's just that
He
they
is a
stick him
good
in
worker.
comedy gimmicks
Yeah.
because he's very underrated. He's very
Well,
underrated, and he
I
can
will
do
say he
anything.
does. Yeah, he does good work. I will say that,
Mhm.
and that mostly probably from the Minnesota crew. But
Yeah, he's a part of. For whatever reason, if you're from Minnesota, you're a wrestler. You're usually a great worker. I mean, it's like it's whatever's in the water. I don't know what it is, but you turn out to be a great worker. All right.
I mean, Kurt was, Rick
Yeah.
was. I mean,
hmm
everyone who was from Minnesota ended up
Uh,
being a star.
Brock Lesnar came from Minnesota too. He actually from South Dakota, but he went to the University of Minnesota.
He went to
So
the Minnesota
technically, he's a part of
University.
that crew too, even though he's from South Dakota
Right,
initially.
and a lot of people get the misconception. Oh well, Kurt trained Brock Lesnar. No,
No, he
no.
didn't.
That didn't happen. No, they worked out a couple of times. He was
hmm
trying to push Brock Lesnar because Brock had just signed a deal with Vince McMahon, and
Yeah,
Kurt was calling him a stud and stuff, and he's going to be a good star. But he was also pushing Randy Orton too. So he was like,
yeah.
Randy Orton's going to be a big star. Blah blah
hmm
blah. Can we stop spamming about AEW Double or Nothing? It was crap. It was shit. Move
I
on.
didn't even
Okay,
notice that.
that's
I'm just
okay.
gonna
I was
time
trying
you
not to
out.
notice. I'm like, so can
Yeah,
we stop spamming now? AEW's shits. Move on.
I
Okay.
yeah. So I'm just gonna time you out to keep doing that. All right. So the next match is the Fatal 4-Way match for the NXT North American Championship. Ethan Page, the champion, is gonna defend versus against Javon Evans, Laredo Kid, and Ray Phoenix.
Ooh, what? I thought Ray Phoenix was going to come up to the main roster for a
He is on the
bit.
main roster. I'm surprised, he's in this match.
Maybe that's just a hey, you get, we'll feed you a
Yeah,
little
he
bit,
was in
and then you
AAA
feed us a
too.
little bit.
He was in AAA too, so he's on the card for
Hmm.
that, probably for that reason. So Ethan Page probably going to retain his belt because he just got
I
it.
think so.
He just got it on Tuesday night. He defeated Ricky Starks. Oh no,
Yeah,
not
I
Ricky
mean, because
Saints.
Ray Phoenix don't need it.
Yeah,
So I mean, there's no point in giving him the belt if he doesn't need it, right?
he
Because
defeated.
he's on the roster now,
Yeah,
or what? He is on the main roster. Didn't Ray Phoenix and Penta both came from AEW?
yeah. Ray Phoenix and Penta were both in AEW and AAA too. So there
Yes,
was whole
hi, Ray. Yes, hit the like button,
Yeah,
please.
hit the like button. Thank you. Yes,
Oh.
appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, so this is just a match on the card, and
Well, I know
Ethan Page just
sometimes,
won
like
the belt.
for example, Drew McIntyre will go on AEW. CM Punk was on or AEW. CM Punk was on NXT. I believe Drew McIntyre also. It's kind of like they feed each other. They kind of
Yeah,
they take the stars that are already stars and they kind of feed them to the NXT guys and say, "Here's a big star. Now get yourselves over with the big star." Right. So
yeah,
I think it's kind of like they're feeding it to them so they can see who's over and who's not.
yeah.
That's just my feeling though.
So yeah, Ethan Page gonna retain this belt.
Yeah.
All right, so the next match has Stephanie Vacor and Lola Vice versus Chick Tormenta and Dallas for the tag team match. So apparently, Chick Tormenta and Dallas were Stephanie Vacor's rivals in AAA. So that's why they're booking this tag team match, trying to kind of to renew that rivalry.
Oh, but I see big things for Stephanie Valcourt.
No. Actually, I me
Sorry.
too. Yeah, yeah,
I'm sorry, Stephanie. Sorry. No, I just think she's got that look. She's
yeah.
got the horns and stuff, and I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah, she's
Like,
gonna be. She dropped her women's title to who was it? Some girl. I
yeah,
forget her name.
I forget her name too, but
She was literally a background girl, and then all of a sudden she's a champion.
right.
What's her
Because
name?
they want to pull Stephanie up and make her get her
Yeah.
over. I mean, I honestly can see that she'll be up in that league with either Tiffy or what's the other one? Rhea Ripley. She could be as good as Rhea Ripley. High grade.
That's it. JC Jane. She was a background girl.
JC Jane. Yeah.
Yeah, she was a background girl until recently, and all of a sudden they elevated her like this, and she's a
Now they're
champion.
going to elevate her, see if she can sink or swim, just like
She
Roxanne Perez.
she
So like I said,
screams.
I don't know about the whole judgment thing, but go ahead. I'm
She
sorry.
she screams a transitional champion in JC Jane. You know, she's not gonna be the full-time champion, I don't think.
Right.
She's gonna drop that belt to somebody else rather quickly. It just that they need to get the belt off Stephanie because they're moving her up to Raw. So it's like
Right.
they're
And I
all
hope
right.
I loved her match with and I wasn't really watching really that much, but I mean her match with who did she it
The
wasn't
match
Rhea
on Raw,
Ripley.
the match on
Yeah.
Raw she worked. Yeah, she
Against the current
I for-
women's champion. What the hell's her name?
uh who's the
Io
women's world?
Sky. Io
Yeah,
Sky.
yeah,
Her match with Io Sky, I liked what Stephanie
yeah,
did. I didn't like what
yeah,
Io Sky did. But I mean, watching that, I'm like, holy shit. I mean, she's gonna be a
yeah,
star. I
yeah.
could see her getting over.
Yeah, she can and will. Julia's on SmackDown. She already qualified for Money in the Bank, so there she's definitely get herself.
Naomi did the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that match. Stephanie's gonna win that match because they're kind of pushing her on Raw, so she can't lose that match.
I hope
So
she honestly
she,
gets up and gets over. And she's on her way.
yeah.
I can see, I mean, and I don't normally say this because I'm like, oh, NXT, it's the if you can't make it in NXT, kind of like Roxanne Perez, because I'm not really impressed with Roxanne, to be honest. I mean, the truthful of true. I see something in Stephanie Valkyr.
Yeah, I do too.
I can't say the last name. I'll just say Stephanie.
Yeah. All right, so the next match is the fifth match listed here. I don't know which one's gonna go on last, so I'm not gonna say the main event. So it's Latino World Order, Dragon Lee, Cruz del Toro, and Joaquin Wilde versus Octagon Jr., Aerostar, Mr. Iguana.
Okay. No Rey Mysterio Jr. in there, huh?
I think
Well,
Ray's
I mean,
still
he's
hurt.
not getting any younger. I love Ray. I know
Ray's
what
still
Ray
hurt.
looks like, without the mask on, because they did that in WCW, and I know Rey Mysterio from WCW. So when they made him take the mask off, I just thought, whatever, they're trying to get him into the NWO, right?
Yeah.
But I'm kind of. I can't. I like that Ray's still around. I mean, he's not getting any younger, guys.
I assume he'll
But
come
as long
out.
as he can do it, go for it.
Yeah, I
If
assume
you
he'll
can do
be
it
there.
into your 50s and 60s, like Flair was doing it in his 50s and 60s. No offense. I mean, I don't like Ric Flair. I hate Ric Flair, but I mean, he could really go, even though he was like in his 50s and still wrestling.
Yeah. So, yeah, I assume Rey Mysterio will accompany him to the ring because he was in AAA too, so he'll be involved somehow in this show. So, yeah, I'm assuming that the AAA guys will win because Latino World Order at this point is just a joke. They're just there and they don't do anything with them. So
It
most
kind of
likely,
bounced off of the NWO, which
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio was a part of eventually with Kevin
Yeah.
Nash. He would eventually defect to the NWO Red and Black, I believe.
Yeah.
But then the NWO would come together anyway, instead of being NW Hollywood and NWO Wolfpack. I mean, they eventually will come back together as the NWO and have that red streak with them, right?
Yeah. So that's Worlds Collide. They may add a match or two to this card. I mean, I'm sure there's more guys they want to feature, I'm sure, from AAA to introduce them to the WWE audience. Because they need to introduce these guys because very few in the WWE audience even heard of AAA, let alone watch it. So
right. I don't know any of those people except for the LWO, because you see them on Raw all the time, right? So I mean, it's
so
Dragon Lee doesn't really impress me much, but
Dragon Lee is just there at this point. Because what happened was they signed him because he had one match in AEW and he impressed. So he didn't have a contract. So they just picked him up like immediately. So and signed him. So it's like he hasn't really done anything other than being in the Latino World Order.
Right. And see, the thing is, guys, when AEW guys come over to WWE, everyone thinks they're a star except for the people who were, they once were in AEW. They were nothing in AEW. They weren't even pushed, I'm sure. But what irritates me the most is, I mean, I want to like Penta. I really do. I'm not impressed with Penta's moves. or his wrestling. I'm not really impressed with anything about Penta, except that he has cool contacts. I like that. You know, they're
Yeah,
all white out and stuff.
he's he's over because of that mask and that those and he's not flamboyant, but he does a lot of cool moves and the audience likes that, especially the casual audience. They're really into that type of stuff. So he's
Yeah.
already a star. The question is trying to get his brother up to level because he's just there.
Yeah,
His
because Ray
brother's
Phoenix is worse.
yeah, he's like a generic guy with a mask. I mean, I can't see it with him.
Right.
But Penta is definitely going to be a star, and the only way they can get Ray Phoenix over is sticking with his brother in a tag team. That's the only way
True.
probably to get him over at this
True.
point. So that's Worlds Collide. Let me go back and see because I know WCW did it too. Let's see. I'm pretty sure WCW did it. Unless I'm wrong about that. I could have sworn they did some World Collide too.
Has anyone seen Juventud Guerrera?
They
The other
did.
things I was thinking, Eddie Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero.
Instead of Worlds Collide, they called it AAA when Worlds Collide. So it's
When
slightly
Worlds
different.
Collide. Yeah.
So they did do a few of these. I think they did one. Hold on, let me see.
So here's your debut. I can't even talk today. Here's your debut, guys. Have fun,
Yeah.
right? Show the
Yeah.
world what you got. But I mean, I just don't think people are here in the States because we are what we are. I just don't think people are going to take to it because, people are just like, oh, why can't they just be American wrestlers?
So TKO is betting that they can get these guys over, the AAA guy in the US.
I hope they're right. I honestly hope they're right.
They bought this company because they think they can get these guys over. So we'll see. But I wouldn't be surprised if they booked a midget match, a midget wrestling match, because a lot of those guys in AAA too, the midgets. I think that's not politically correct anymore.
You think they're going to bring that back? Bring that back to WWE at least?
Yeah,
they used to do that in the territories. I mean, there used to be some really famous midgets who used to wrestle in the territories. But I mean, okay, if you want to bring it back and see if it works, I mean, you'll try anything once, right?
Yeah. So now let's get to Money in the Bank, which is also next Saturday. That starts at 7. Worlds Collide starts at 3 on YouTube. They have a simulcast in English and Spanish, so on YouTube. But this Money in the Bank starts at 7. The Worlds Collide starts at 3. So there's gonna be a lot of wrestling to be watched Saturday. So let's see. The Money in the Bank men's match so far: Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, Penta, Seth Rollins, and Andrade. And the final spot we decided on Raw, June 2nd, which is this Monday, between AJ Styles, CM Punk, and El Grande Americano.
Oh, I hope it's CM Punk because, and a lot of people were imposing Karrion Kross onto Grande Americano.
Yeah.
Not going to happen, guys. Unfortunately, we all knew this was probably going to happen, that they're not going to push Karrion Kross that fast. They are taking their time, pushing him. And I mean, has he ever had a match in WWE yet?
Yeah, he was a part of that stable on Final Testament. He had a match at WrestleMania 2 years ago against, I think it was Bobby Lashley's stable. They called it, I forget what they called it, but at the time it was the Hurt Business.
Okay, so he hasn't had a match in what, over 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah, he's only wrestling on Main Event now, so which is
so,
their like WWE Superstar show or WWF Superstar show. So nobody really watches it, but he's been wrestling there. So
I think a lot more people should start. If you can watch Main Event, you'll at least get to see Karrion Kross. But they need to give him a match. They need to give him a chance. I don't know what the fuck Vince said about Karrion Kross or why they won't give Karrion Kross a push. It seems like they're literally, I don't know. They're just not. I mean, he's the third top seller, t-shirts and stuff right now.
Yeah, he's
the third top seller.
Yeah,
and you don't have him wrestling. You don't have him in main events. You don't even have him in mid card.
No, he's
what
basically
the fuck, WWE?
He's been stalking or trying, or basically he's like the the angel here and the devil here. That's what he's been. He's been the devil here, talking trying to turn Sami Zayn heel or something. Getting
Yeah.
him. That's basically
Same thing with
that's all he's
AJ.
doing right now.
Same
That's
thing
all
with
he's been
AJ.
doing lately. This backstage segments, trying to turn these guys heel. So
if he's on at all, and that pisses me off even more because I was like, really, guys, really? But then there was this video that came out. Apparently, Logan Paul has his underwear in a twist. You little fucking punk. Where he was talking, oh, well, he's not happy where he is. Guess what, Logan Paul? Nobody gives a fuck what you think or what you do. Guess what? You're a fucking YouTuber. We're on fucking YouTube. You don't see us going in the ring, do you? We're not fucking wrestlers.
WWE has booked him well. I mean, he gets world title matches. He had a run with the U.S. title, so it's not like they not using him or
And this is just pussy bitch shit.
Having him do jobs.
Tell him to change his fucking pad or his tampon because literally, you're acting like a little whiny bitch. No wonder they stuck him with John Cena. You two are made for each other. You fucking whiny bitches.
Yeah. So. The next match listed here is the women's Money in the Bank match between Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, Julia, Naomi. And the final spot will be decided on Raw between Ivy Nile, Liv Morgan, and Stephanie McCourt.
Oh, come on, Stephanie. Yeah, that's what
I assume she's going to win that match and be in this.
That would be awesome. I'd like
that means she's working.
Can I say one more thing about the men's? Andrade. What the fuck? Andrade got one yesterday on SmackDown.
Again, he qualified for Money in the Bank. So that's out of nowhere. That's out of nowhere.
That's Charlotte Flair's ex, right?
Yeah. That came out of nowhere because he wasn't being used either, basically in backstage segments. And now he's in the Money in the Bank ladder match. So he's not going to win it. He's probably there just to do his stunts.
Yeah, but I thought that was pretty cool that they at least gave him a shot at it. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Because it was him, Jacob Fatu, and some other dude on SmackDown.
Jacob didn't win, even though
but Jimmy Uso came out.
Yeah, that's why they distracted.
Kind of like they had interfered in Jimmy Uso's qualifying match because Jimmy Uso didn't make it, but they interfered, and that's why Jimmy didn't go. So Jimmy was just paying him back. I get that.
Yeah, that was the story.
But go Andrade. Come on. Even though it's a filler, I know it's a filler. He's not going to win. But hey, cool.
Right now, if I had to guess, it'd be between LA Knight and Seth Rollins winning this match. Unless CM Punk gets in it, then that's interesting. It's going to change.
I want CM Punk to get in. Please let CM Punk win.
But as of now, it's either LA Knight or Seth Rollins that are win this match.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying LA Knight. I can see that. But I just think, are they going to elevate him? That's the question, because he's been chasing after the U.S. belt.
They should have elevated him. When they elevated Damian Priest last year, that was probably his time because
that cage match was awful.
Yeah, he's still over. LA Knight's still over, but last year he's been more over. So it would probably make sense to elevate him last year, but they might do it this year. So it depends who CM Punk's in the match. That might change some things.
Come on, CM Punk. But if I could just say a few things about that cage match too. I just heard Jim Cornette's opinion about that, and honestly, they think that Priest has become I always want to call him Judas Priest. I'll just call him Priest. Damian Priest. He has literally turned heel, or at least they did a double. That's what they were thinking. Him and Brian Last were like, was it a double turn? Or they're confused because Priest did stuff right at the end of the match that literally he looked like a prick. He looked like a heel.
Yeah, I didn't see. I saw that, but I didn't think of it as a double turn. So that's interesting. They thought of it like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they also kind of made fun of Jesse's commentary.
Yeah, they did. I was like, come on.
But I liked that. That was my favorite part of the match. I'm surprised that they kind of not buried him, but made fun of his commentary.
Yeah, they said he's off. Grandpa's off his meds again. I was like, come on. Give Jesse a pass. The man is 74, 75 years old. How would you be at 70? Even Jim Cornette himself is only 60 something. When you get to 70, then come back and talk to me. But what really got me, it made me laugh and then go, "Oh, you guys are horrible." Is when Jim was like, "Oh, they should have stuck a hose up his ass because he looked dehydrated." I'm like, again, you're 70. Come back and out to be what you look like when you're 74.
They Travis drew Jesse as like the Crypt Keeper
Yeah,
from
the
Tales of
Crypt
the Crypt.
Keeper. I
Like
actually
Tales
like
from the
Tales of the
Crypt.
Crypt.
Yeah, they actually drew him like that. As oh, come on. I mean, they
I'm like,
really.
come on, Jesse's not that bad.
Yeah.
Jesus, give it. I mean, he's that old school mentality of wrestling, and yeah, they called him out for all the people who went through the doors, and Jesse didn't say dick about it. Or like if he was calling that match, Hogan always had to be over the top and go up over the cage. I mean, Bubba went through the door. Big Boss Man.
Going out the door is usually a heel thing. The babyface usually goes
Right.
over the top, that's why they thought it was a double turn, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think of it like that. All right, so who's gonna win the women's Money in the Bank? I would like
to see Stephanie take it.
Yeah, they would elevate her rather quickly.
Yeah,
her and Julia. Rhea Ripley is also in it to possibly winning it too. The other girl,
yeah. If Stephanie doesn't, I hope Rhea does. Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, so
she is a star. She is over. I think that what they did with Io Sky was bullshit. They literally elevated Io Sky, and that girl can't wrestle. She's gonna kill herself one of these days. You watch, she's gonna self-delete.
Yeah, the Triple H booked himself into a corner heading to that WrestleMania because he put the belt on her right before, so she had to retain because that would basically bury her as a paper champion if she would have lost that belt. So he booked himself into a corner. That was kind of his fault there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just I don't like Io Sky. I don't like her version of wrestling. And anyone who likes her, everyone's like, "You deserve it." I'm going, "No, she don't."
Yeah, I don't understand. She's over with the WWE crowd, but I just don't understand it. All right.
Yeah, like
the next match listed here is Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso versus John Cena and Logan Paul.
Come on, Cody Rhodes, baby. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I was finishing up watching that Logan Paul stupid bullshit. All kind. It just seemed like the whole thing on SmackDown was literally, "I'm jealous that you are Nepo babies," is what they're calling them. The whole theme of this interview was, "I'm jealous because you are second generations." Hey guys, it's not their fault that they had famous fathers. Okay, if you're so fucking jealous, get the fuck out of wrestling, because that's how it is.
John Cena is kind of like a Nepo babies. Like both Jey Uso and Cody's were second generation.
They didn't ask for that. They didn't ask to have famous fathers. They were just born into it.
So initially, this match was supposed to be a three-way, a six-man tag. It's supposed to be Cody Rhodes and the Usos versus John Cena, Logan Paul, and Travis Scott, the rapper.
Right, but the fans said absolutely not.
And Travis Scott backed out of the match in the last second, so they just made it a tag team match instead.
I mean, guys, we pick on AEW all the time, but no offense, this would have been shit. This would have been absolute shit if they had Travis Scott in there.
Yeah.
Not to mention, the only reason why he was in there is because of the fucking Rock, the final boss. And the Rock, he ain't coming back anytime soon because he's done another movie role.
He's doing a mobster movie, Martin Scorsese, the famous director. So it's like he's not coming back anytime soon.
No.
If ever. Yeah,
so
at this
now
point,
you just fucked everything up again.
The Rock fucked that WrestleMania main event by insisting. Yeah, so I knew Cody probably dropped it to Cena, but it should have been babyface versus babyface instead.
Right. It should have been like Austin. Oh, sorry. It should have been like Warrior and Hogan. Yeah. I didn't really like any of them, but again, it's like that they're trying to. I thought maybe they were trying to recreate that WrestleMania 6 vibe.
That was probably the initial plan until The Rock fucked it up with.
Yeah, The Rock fucked it up.
He insisting on Cody turning heel, and he's like, "Oh, he can have a generational run as a heel. I know he could be a great heel." It's like, I'm sure.
But nobody wants to boo him. Nobody wants to boo John Cena.
Not right now, yeah. So.
Sorry.
So it made no sense. So
motorcycles.
Yeah, I get the same thing here too sometimes. All right, so I think at this, it's interesting because they could put over Cena and Paul, but at the same time, Cody just came back in his first match, so after vacation. So,
but honestly, that's how I felt watching that. I'm like, shut up, Paul. It's not like they, first of all, You're just pissed off because you're pretending to be a wrestler when you were on YouTube. Okay, again, we have YouTube channels. Just because we have YouTube channels and are making it on YouTube does not make us professional wrestlers, does it? No. I mean, we could, obviously.
Yeah.
But then, and then it was, wah, you guys had famous fathers. Oh, go suck a dick. I mean, really. First of all, they can't help it. Second of all, stop being fucking jealous because, I mean, Dusty Rhodes was a legend in the sport.
Yeah.
What do you want Cody Rhodes to do? 9-to-5 job? That's not what Cody was built for. Cody knew exactly what he was built for. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to be like his father. Yeah. Jey Uso, same thing. Rikishi. Everybody knows who Rikishi is. If you don't, well, then you missed the 90s.
Yeah,
you missed the Attitude Era.
I'm going to assume Cody's going to win this match, even though it could very easily have John Cena win it.
Yeah, I mean, Jey Uso has been humiliated by Paul and by John Cena. But then Paul was like, well, you came out, Cody, and you interfered. I went, John Cena interfered first, motherfucker. Yeah.
So
I think you're dreaming.
I don't think Jey Uso did well in that segment. Cody did, of course, but Jey Uso is kind of just there. He was a background character, he didn't really say much. So even though he's the world champion, but he's kind of a background character.
Cody's back. What did I sound? I was like, Cody's back.
Yeah. So he's definitely the top guy because the shows haven't been the same without him when he went away after dropping the title. So.
Well, here's the thing. Again, they're doing these promos that sound like they're whiny bitches. John Cena, since he turned heel, literally sounds like a whiny little bitch. And again, nobody wants to boo him. Because, I mean, Cody Rhodes came out and he was talking about John Cena. And when they had the let's go Cena sucks. Make up your fucking mind, people. Make up your fucking mind. You like Cody Rhodes and you like John Cena too?
That's from 15 years ago when Cena was on top because the kids liked Cena and the grown men hated him. So the let's go Cena sucks came from that. And today's crowd is doing it because they did it then. So they think it's cool. But they like Cena. They don't really hate him. So it makes no sense to say that.
I think this whole idea of turning Cena heel was just bogus. I mean, nobody wants. It's kind of like Austin at WrestleMania 18. Was it 18? When he shook the hand of Vince McMahon. Nobody wanted to boo Stone Cold. Okay, my point is, no one wanted to boo Stone Cold because he was the hero of the middle class. The Vince was a big billionaire trying to keep everybody down, trying to keep Austin down. And what happened? Austin ended up being the top superstar in the world. And nobody wanted to boo him even at WrestleMania 18 or after that.
Yeah, it's just total. That was bad. Even that was Austin's idea, apparently. He said he thought his character. Idea. He thought his character needed a reboot. And JR was like, no, don't trying to convince Vince not to turn him heel. And Vince was like, we owe it to Steve to at least try it.
Yeah, well, it didn't work, and they ended up turning him babyface again anyway.
Yeah.
It's the same scenario here. No one wants to boo John Cena. I'm not a Cena fan. I don't know. So
yeah.
I mean, if you do cheer for John Cena, again, why would you turn them heel? I mean, nobody wants to boo him. You can tell that the crowd really doesn't want to boo him. There's little kids with I'm still a Cena fan, with his shirts and stuff.
Yeah, when they were kids 15 years ago, now they're adults.
And this whole Cena turn, literally, again, Cena sounds like a whiny little bitch. Oh, well, you guys are Nepo babies, and I was raising your kids.
I thought that Cena this heel run would be great because he tends to be, his promos are going to be great, and his matches weren't going to be good, but the promos would be, disaster. It hasn't been good. All he's done is just bitch and moan about
disaster.
About the baby faces.
About nothing.
Yeah, about the baby faces and how they are, they're second generation.
Well, that's kind of not their fault.
They're Nepo babies or whatever. Yeah. So that's kind of like, it's just stupid. So the match is, it's going to be probably good because Cody's in it, but probably going to be good again because Jey Uso is not really a worker. John Cena's past his prime and can't go anymore, and Logan
Right.
Paul is just there, So it
I
depends.
don't
A lot
really
of
want
a
them
lot
to
of
push
people,
Logan Paul
a lot of people say he's a good worker, and I'm like, he's only had 20 matches in his career. So
How can he
again,
be
he's
a
a
good
great.
worker if he's
He,
first
you're,
of all, he's a YouTuber. He's a
he's a
YouTuber. He's not a
he,
wrestler.
he's a great athlete, but it doesn't mean
Okay, he's a
he's a
great
good
athlete.
worker. Yeah, I give
Okay.
him that, but
He looks like an athlete. Yes, I will give him that. But as far as being a wrestler when you were just a YouTuber, I mean, okay, you and I, we go out for tryouts, and what are we going to find? We're not going to make
mm-mm.
it. Although I would do my damned hardest to be a great
Yeah,
woman's
he's not.
wrestler. But again, I would rather be taught by Kurt or one of the veterans like Brett. I
Yeah,
would rather
we're
learn
not.
wrestling from Bret Hart, from Jake the Snake, from Kurt Hennig, and name any of the old timers that are still around and could probably still do a good job of teaching us.
Yeah. So the fourth match listed here, only 4 matches listed so far. It's Lyra Valkyria, the Women's Intercontinental Champion, defending against Becky Lynch. And there's stipulations. If Lynch loses, she can no longer challenge for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. If Valkyria loses, she'll be forced to raise Becky Lynch's hands and acknowledge her as a better woman.
See, I don't think they're going to go Becky Lynch ain't going to be a champion anymore, especially because her husband is literally on the path to trying to be a champion. So I think Becky takes it.
Yeah, because of the stipulation, so they're
And they
telling
did
a
the same thing
story.
with Stone Cold. Remember that
Yeah.
if Vince won, Stone Cold could never be champion. If
Yeah.
Austin won, Vince had to leave. So they were
Yeah.
never going to say, "Oh, Austin, you can't be champion anymore," because
Yeah.
the fans would hate that. They would leave.
Yeah.
They wouldn't buy tickets.
So, yeah, I think Lynch is going to take this and they'll continue that story, and eventually she'll drop it back to her and she'll do something else.
Right.
So, Becky's going to win this thing. That's the 4 matches that are listed. I'm assuming they'll do one more. Maybe have Jacob Fatu defend the U.S. title or something. Just
I'd
do
like to
one
see
more match.
maybe against Solo Sikoa. I mean, because
Solo's in the
he's
ladder
kind of
match.
like, stay out of my business. I got business to attend to. That's what he was saying on SmackDown. Even though Jay Mateo was there.
JC Mateo is just there. He's
just there. I mean, he
it's like
doesn't do much.
everybody marked out about him when he debuted. He's like, "Oh, Jeff Cobb is here! Oh my god!" And our review is, "I'd never even heard of this guy."
Yeah, I never.
And I looked
We had
him
to look
up,
him
and he's like, he's been working for 15 years in the Indies. I'm like, okay, but as soon as they gave him the name JC Mateo, I'm like, yeah, he's dead. He has no chance getting over with that name. He's gonna be a background character. That's what he's going to be with that name. He's no chance of getting over with that name.
Well, and they had the segment on Jim Cornette's show where Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer, who I don't really pay attention much to anymore, literally were arguing about Solo Sikoa. Okay, I get it, but they're still booking him like shit. He's still a background character to Jacob Fatu.
Well.
Right,
Yeah.
who now has a rocket on his ass, and they're pushing Jacob Fatu.
Yeah.
And rightfully so, they should.
Yeah, they should. I mean, but Solo is being booked like crap ever since he lost to Ula Fala to Roman Reigns in January. It's like
they pushed him right back down the card.
Yeah, I don't know. And so either they don't believe in him anymore, or they're just waiting to the right time to push him back up again. But
maybe let's hope for Solo Sikoa. I hope, and he's the youngest son of Rikishi, so he's also second generation.
Yeah, he's like 28 still, so there's still time for him to get over. So I'm not that worried about him. He'll probably win the U.S. title from Jacob, and that turn him babyface, and then they'll feud for that U.S. title.
Wow,
that'd be my guess. Yeah, because Solo is kind of already turning on him. They're turning on each other.
Yeah, they're really turning on each other. Yeah.
Yeah, eventually Solo
the crowd really likes Jacob Fatu. I mean, he's really over because they're always screaming one more time, and he does that flip in the back and hurts his opponent.
Yeah, he's turning babyface. So they're trying to turn him babyface at some point. Yeah, that's Money in the Bank. I'm assuming they'll add one more match because they usually have 5 matches on these pay-per-views.
Yeah.
So they'll probably add one more match.
Come on, CM Punk.
If CM Punk's in the Money in the Bank, he's already won it twice in his career, though. back in his
I
first
know,
run. In
but
his first run, he won it twice.
a
So
girl can dream.
so winning it a third time, it would be it would. We'll see what happens, but if he qualifies, even I tend to guess so. Chad Gable's going to win as a Grande Americano and qualify somehow
Oh,
because I don't know. But even though I would want to get Punk on that pay per view somehow,
yeah.
so
I
most
think Punk
likely
would
it's
be pissed
either
off if he wasn't.
yeah. So he's probably gonna win that match, even though El Grande Americano is in it, and I'm sure he's gonna use that medal in his mask. That's how he wins his matches usually by cheating like that. So
But I hope Punk has some kind of thing for that, you know?
yeah. So unless they stick him in a one-on-one match in the pay-per-view just to get him to do something, that'd be the fifth match probably if he
That would be
loses.
the fifth
So
match. Yeah, him
yeah,
against anyone else who doesn't,
yeah,
or against Penta. Because, I mean, Penta has a score to settle with Grande.
yeah. Penta's in the ladder match though, so that wouldn't work.
Uh, mm.
Yeah, so that's Money in the Bank. If
Ray
Stephanie
Phoenix, maybe.
maybe, yeah. If Stephanie qualifies, she's working twice that Saturday because she already has a tag team match at the
That's
Worlds Collide
right.
pay per
At the
view.
Worlds Collide.
So
Um,
I mean, she's
I
working
think she can
twice.
do it. I mean, let's see how much stamina she has, and I'd like to see that.
Yeah, she'd be working twice because
I just don't like
unless
the fact that it's a ladder match. I don't like that because now you got girls and boys taking
I don't pay
bumps off of ladders. I didn't like the last year's
I
Money in the
I
Bank.
don't pay attention to these Money in the Bank matches. I just pay attention to the winner, and then from there you figure out okay, so he's gonna cash in on this champion or that champion.
Because
You know,
last year's was Priest, I think, right?
yeah, and he cashed in on. Hey, who won it last year? Was it Priest? I'm trying to.
I know Drew was in it, but then they didn't he didn't win.
Yeah, so who the
It
hell?
wasn't Drew. I think it was Priest.
I'm pretty sure it was, but I just don't. Let's see, 2024. Let's go back. Shit. Let's see. Drew McIntyre defeated Andrade, Carmelo Hayes, Chad Gable, and Jey Uso on LA Knight. Yeah, he won. Drew McIntyre got the
Okay, I
money
was
in the
gonna
bank.
say it's either Drew or
Yeah,
Priest.
yeah.
Well, then
So
Drew cashed it in, and then he became champion. But then Gunther came around, or Priest came
right, right.
around, and screwed Drew,
So
and
what
then
happened? What happened was I remember now. Drew cashed in, and because it was supposed to be Damian Priest versus Seth Rollins for the world title, but Drew cashed in and made him triple threat, and Damian Priest won anyway, so he failed his cash in.
yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, so that's why we didn't see much of the Money in the Bank because he cashed it in that night. So
Right, right. And
yeah,
and
so that's
that
what
was
happened.
when Priest botched because he was supposed to kick out and he didn't.
Yeah, so that's Money in the Bank. We'll see what happens. I'm hoping it's either going to be LA Knight or Seth Rollins because Seth Rollins he has that big stable now. It's
Yeah.
like the bloodline. It's like the Bloodline Light version. That's what it looks like
Or
with
the
Paul Heyman
Shield.
there.
And
Yeah,
I'm
it's
waiting
like
for I heard a rumor that Roman Reigns is going to Hollywood.
yeah he has a role in the new Street Fighter movie. He's got to film
Yes.
that soon.
Well,
So
that means he ain't coming back now. Who's going to be that third guy?
yeah,
It
unless
has to
he
be Reigns because Reigns has to get revenge on Paul Heyman. Because I mean, Paul Heyman fucked him over.
yeah, I'm assuming he'll come back to do that after the Street Fighter filming. I'm not sure whether he's going to be one of the stars or he has a small role and then he'll be right back. Like Liv Morgan in that movie, she had a small role, so she filmed for a couple of weeks and then she came
I
back.
hope so. I mean, I want Reigns to get his revenge on Paul Heyman because Paul Heyman fucked him over. Now this is your revenge time, and it would be that that other man's for the 6-man for Rollins stable versus Roman Reigns, CM
Yeah,
Punk, and Jey
like
Uso. No, not Jey
Sami
Uso.
Zayn, probably Sami Zayn in
Sami
that.
Zayn. That's right. Yeah.
So that's Money in the Bank.
So if Roman Reigns, I'm just saying, I'm not saying he will, but if Roman Reigns came back on Raw, that could be the 5th match, except that Seth Rollins is in Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank. Yes, but I don't think he'll be back for that. He'll be back probably for SummerSlam or on the Bash in Berlin pay-per-view in August. One of those pay-per-views.
And that would be a shame because I really want to see the 6-man at the next pay-per-view. I want to see the Seth Rollins stable with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed.
And I also want to
against CM Punk, Sami Zayn, and Roman Reigns. I would like to see that. But again, it all depends on if Reigns comes back.
So the next pay-per-view is June 28th, the Night of Champions pay-per-view in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Really? So we're having 2 June pay-per-views?
Yeah.
Well, we know CM Punk ain't going to be there, so we can kick that out the door.
Yeah, so chances are Punk isn't winning Money in the Bank unless they plan on him cashing in later, later after Night of Champions. So
I still would like CM Punk in the match. Come on, CM Punk. He's growing on me. He really is. I'm just like, damn it, Punk. I don't want to be on your side.
So other news this week, the WWE moved WrestleMania out of New Orleans. Initially, they announced it.
Yep.
And they removed it out of New Orleans.
Yep.
Yeah. What's funny is The Rock came out and announced WrestleMania for New Orleans back in February.
You might as well have just pissed in The Rock's face and just slapped him in the face too.
So now apparently it's going to be in Vegas again.
Just kidding.
Apparently next year's WrestleMania 42 is going to be in Vegas again.
It's going to be in Vegas again because, again, the Vegas guys, money talks and bullshit walks, guys. It's all about the money. The WrestleManias go to the highest bidder, even though they had a highest bidder, which was New Orleans. They can still pull that bid out. Sorry, sucks to be
WWE pulled WrestleMania. Now they gave them Money in the Bank next year.
Yeah.
So as a consolation
I bet that won't be. I bet that will be pulled too.
Yeah, it's a consolation prize. They got Money in the Bank next year. So WrestleMania is going to be in Vegas again. That's the rumored most likely town because Ari Emanuel and Mark Shapiro and all those TKO executives are from Vegas.
They made a killing. That's what Jim Cornette said. They made a killing while it was in Vegas.
Yeah, that's why. And a lot of the internet fans were like, oh, you can't hold WrestleMania in the same spot 2 years in a row. And I'm like, well, Vince did it once. WrestleMania 4 and 5 were in not Trump Tower.
It was in Trump Plaza. In New Jersey at Atlantic City. Yeah, I mean, if you go back to WrestleMania 9 when it was in Vegas and they had that whole one, I mean, they really had made a production out of the whole thing, and it was just a bunch of wrestling. They literally turned, and they were saying this, they turned a parking lot into a wrestling extravaganza, and no one really knew what was going to happen. They were hoping everything would come out the best.
Which it was not the best WrestleMania.
It wasn't the best WrestleMania, and it's because Hogan came back, and of course Vince McMahon wants to suck Hogan off. So,
So, getting back to that story, according to Bret Hart, and Bret Hart had the one thing about Bret Hart is he's never been caught in a blatant lie. He always tells the truth, even if it doesn't. He tells the truth maybe too much because he's brutally honest about everything and what happened.
Well, that's just Bret. I mean, he's a brutally blunt guy. Let's just put it that way.
So let's see. So Bret Hart talked about how
especially when he's drunk.
Initially, he was supposed to win against Yokozuna.
Yeah.
He was supposed to beat Yokozuna, according to Vince. And then Hogan came back and wasn't the card, and Bret was like, "Oh shit, here we go." And Vince was like, "Oh no, don't worry about Hogan, pal. He's just gonna wrestle in the tag team title match. You're not gonna have to worry about it."
But I think, and that's the whole reason they weren't getting the sales that they would if Hogan was involved. Hogan wasn't there. Wasn't going to be a part of the match at all, but yet they literally were like calling, like, "Oh shit, we're not doing good sales, so call Hulk Hogan." That was the
Hogan. Hogan wasn't. He's supposed to win the tag team title with Brutus, but Hogan, of course, got in Vince's ear and started politicking. So eventually,
I'm the champion. I should be the champion, not Bret Hart.
He won by disqualification, in the tag team title match, remember correctly, and then he won the world title that night again, and screwed Bret out of his win at WrestleMania, his first win as world champion.
Well, yeah, and not only and because Bret had won something. What did he win? I forgot. He won something. Did he win something to qualify or whatever?
He was a champion heading to WrestleMania 9.
So he was the champion. So Brett
He
was
beat
already yeah.
yeah, that's when he beat Flair in '92 and in
Right.
'92.
He beat Flair, right.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you had the whole, Brett swears by this, and I'm sure he's right because I remember seeing pictures of Hogan tugging on one side of the belt and Brett tugging on the other.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be Hogan versus Brett, and that never happened either because Hogan would end up dropping the belt at King of the Ring to Yokozuna and then leaving
again.
for WWE or WCW anyway.
About
So
in a
Vince
year.
got exactly what he deserved, and what he did to Vern Gagne, what goes around comes around.
Well, Time to Wrestle says Money in the Bank is after SummerSlam next year, so they're changing the order of the pay-per-views next year.
Are they going to Time to Wrestle? Are they going to bring back King of the Ring? Because I mean that was originally scheduled for June. It was June 15th when it first started, and Brett was the first King of the Ring, thanks to
I don't think that's on the schedule this year. King of the Ring. Guys, did you see the dumbass Ric Flair tweet about Jim Ross? Uncalled saying Jim Ross being Jim Ross wanting attention. So basically, I saw this pissed me off.
Colon cancer, you dumb fuck.
Ric Flair literally said, yeah, it says uncalled for saying Jim Ross was being Jim Ross wanting attention. That's what he said. Just concentrate on recovering. And now he claims it was a joke.
Colon cancer cut out of him.
Now he's trying to backpedal. I remember this. I saw this saying it was a joke.
I didn't see this. Fuck Ric Flair. Ric Flair can go suck a dick.
Yeah, that pissed me off. You should yeah, I mean, dude, you nearly died twice in
the ring.
Yeah, so just shut up about JR having cancer. How about that? Instead of fucking running your mouth.
Right. How would you like it if you had cancer, fucking Ric Flair?
I wonder who Brett hates more, Hogan or Goldberg. That's a good question.
That's a toss-up. That's a good question,
I would love to ask him that. I would love to
hey,
ask
Brett,
him
who
that.
do you hate more, Hogan or Goldberg?
I'm sure
that's a good question.
Goldberg ended his career, and Hogan screwed him over multiple times.
Yeah,
once in WWF and at least twice in WCW for pushes. So, yeah.
I mean, Hogan screwed
It's a toss-up.
Yeah, it's a real toss-up. I mean, I'm sure Kurt doesn't have any ill will towards Terry now, but I mean, back in the day, he crunched his push in '89 in WCW. He was never allowed to be champion because Hogan was a champion, and Kurt was a part of the NWO. So, that's a big toss-up, especially for Brett. I mean, Goldberg did injure Kurt, but not end his career.
No, he ended Brett's career because he
Mr.
only
Perfect.
had
We like Mr. Perfect here.
he had only 2 more matches, Brett, after that, and he basically had to retire after that. Because
I mean, because he suffered a huge major concussion in that one.
Yeah.
Because he just said, "Hey, Brett, here comes a kick.
Watch the kick." And Brett's like, "What kick?" He didn't watch Goldberg's matches, so because he always thought
Goldberg's
sucked,
matches were shit anyway. The dude only wrestled for like a minute.
Yeah,
because he couldn't do any other moves than a spear and with the fucking jackhammer. Well, shit, I can do that in my sleep, But
yeah. So,
but as far as Ric Flair goes, Ric Flair can go suck a dick because you literally are a piece of shit. I hope you fucking get cancer, dude.
Hold on, let me see.
How do you like it? The dude is recovering from colon cancer, motherfucker.
Let's see, because I saw it, but I thought Ric Flair was hacked at first. I didn't know he was. That was. He seriously.
That's probably drunken Ric Flair, as he always is. He fucks anything that moves. That's why he's 0-5 for wives.
Yeah.
Spear and jackhammer. That's it. That's right, Steven. Spear and the jackhammer.
Let's see.
You only know how to do those 2 things. And yet Kurt put him over. Scott Hall put him over. Fucking Terry put him over. Hogan put him over. I mean.
So Flair deleted the tweet. He deleted the tweet. I don't see it anymore. So,
because he got called out for colon cancer.
But he did post this. So if you can't take a joke from a 76-year-old man, then you're living life too seriously. It was all harmless, lighthearted fun. Just try to make people laugh and smile.
Who the fuck makes a joke about colon cancer?
It's all bullshit. Yeah, he was serious, and then he got busted, so he backpedaled, Flair. That's what I think.
Ric Flair, you are a piece of shit. I mean, a piece of shit.
Yeah, that's a dumb thing to say anyways. Even if it was a joke, that's a really dumb thing to say.
Nobody's fucking laughing, Flair.
Yeah.
There's people who could joke about it and they're literally dead. It's called George Carlin. George Carlin can make a cancer joke and make it funny. You are not George Carlin, Ric Flair. Go fucking suck a dick.
Yeah, he deleted the tweet. I mean, because I didn't see. I saw it earlier today, and I was like, "Was he hacked?" I hope he was hacked.
I agree, Damien. I agree. And they should not have punished Kurt because Kurt and Brock were nowhere near that fucking door, first of all. Second of all, Vince McMahon and Kurt Angle did pretty much the same thing near the exit, and they were closer to that exit than Brock and Kurt were ever thinking of. So, yes, I agree.
They just threw Kurt Hennig under the bus and fired him, basically.
They literally, they threw Kurt under the bus. Kurt Hennig suffered the shit that Ric Flair did. Ric Flair, they act like, oh, well, it's just Ric Flair. You know, it's just one of the boys.
Yeah.
Not when you ask someone to grab your dick. That's sexual assault, baby. That's SA. Sorry.
Like
it's SA.
He literally did, assault
but they
that
act like
girl.
Kurt did it. Kurt wasn't even near. You didn't even do any of that stuff because Kurt is a good person. Kurt Hennig was a great man. He was a good person and a great man. He would never, ever go up to a woman, even if he was dead ass drunk. Kurt would never, ever go up to a woman and say, grab my dick, baby.
So Night of Champions is replacing King and Queen of the Ring. And as of now, next year's Money in the Bank is August 29th. And fuck Flair. Definitely fuck Flair.
Thank you, Time to Wrestle. Hey, do you have a show, Time to Wrestle? It seems like you have like a podcast. I don't know. Maybe
it sounds like it was time to wrestle. So let's see. Vince McMahon started a new company, so he's not gone. In fact,
I'm sorry.
Vince McMahon's new company is called 14 and I.
Yeah, what the fuck is this? So Vince can't have WWE back because TKO's not going to give it to him.
Yeah,
so now he's like a 14 and I.
Yeah.
One?
Yeah, that's what it says. The company will be pursuing opportunities in sports, media, and entertainment. There's no indication yet that 14 and I is pursuing business related to wrestling. Brad Blum, a former WWE executive and longtime ally of McMahon, is the president of 14 and I, according to Blum's verified LinkedIn profile.
Vince, you are 80 years old. For fuck's sake, stop doing this shit.
So this is our actual article.
Me too, Damien. Me too. I wouldn't be surprised, actually.
So he has 3 different versions of this company: 14 and I Holdings LLC, 14 and I Investments LLC, and 14 and I Management LLC. So he opened 3 different businesses under that name.
They blamed Kurt Hennig for all that. Just saying, they blamed Kurt for all that.
All 3 entities were formed in Delaware. Well, of course, because Delaware has that no taxes for corporations. So all the companies are formed in Delaware now.
Yeah, of course, because there's no taxes. So
yeah,
it's an ideal
for corporations, for LLCs and stuff. There's no state taxes, at least.
Well, Time to Wrestle. If you do have a podcast and you do start one, I would love to be your first guest. I know Angel would love to be your guest. We would love to come on and shoot the shit about wrestling. That's what we're doing here. That's why we have a show, right?
Our faces are gone, so let's just do that.
Hi, guys. Now we're back.
Alex always tells me our faces. I don't know why it does that every time I go to.
I was reading some of this. CEO and chairman of WWE, which former. Okay, I was gonna say he's not the what? What are you talking about?
Former. Yeah,
what you talking about, Willis?
He was forced out of TKO after all these lawsuits.
He was forced out because of all these issues.
So this is the actual, the filing in Delaware or the state of Connecticut. He filed
filing fee $50, but that's not plus tax.
No, it's $50.
And everywhere else would be plus tax, right?
Principal office. Yeah, so this is I assume Vince signed this because it's V and then M, so
what the hell?
Yeah, so that's that. I wonder if he's gonna invest in Hogan and Bischoff's new business.
Ugh, please, Goddess, no. I will pay Vince McMahon to not do that. And I ain't gonna set my name.
But I don't think he's stupid enough to invest in that. I mean, it's not gonna work because these are freestyle amateur wrestlers. They have no personality. Right. They're focused on wrestling, an amateur on their freestyle wrestling. That's all they're focused on. all of a sudden they give them gimmicks and personalities like pro wrestling. It's not going to work. I don't know how they're going to expect that to work.
Hey, Steven, I think you might have mentioned that. Do you have my links in the description field?
Yeah, they should be there.
Yeah, Steven, click on my wrestling one, my wrestling podcast. I would love to interview you and get to know, like, you met Kurt Hennig. I mean, you met Kurt Hennig. You're so lucky. I wish I could have met Kurt. He probably would have ribbed me too. Anyway, if you could just click my wrestling link for my podcast and get my email address or DM me on X, and let's get something together. I'd love to interview you. So yeah.
Let me just do this because sometimes the link down there doesn't work for whatever reason.
Okay. So we're gonna probably put it in the chat for you, Steven. Please get a hold of me, and we'll get it together so that I would love to interview you and just, how did that meeting go? I'll have questions for you, and you can talk all about Kurt to me because I love that stuff. I want to meet more people who have met Kurt Hennig, beforehand, before he passed. And, like, what was your time with him like? What did he seem like to you? I mean, was he larger than life? That kind of thing. So let's get it together, Steve. We'll talk.
What are we gonna do? Oh yeah, so we also got to talk about the whole Mariah May kind of situation here, because allegedly
there are rumors, that she's coming to WWE.
Allegedly, she's signed a contract with WWE, and AEW took her off the roster page. So that tells you, she's probably gonna come debut in WWE soon, according to dirt sheets
in AEW. But okay, so we have Mariah May going into a woman's division that doesn't really need sucky talent. I don't know. I never watched her on AEW, so I can't say if she was a good one or a bad one.
The only thing she really did was feud with Tony Storm. Okay. That was really what she was famous for in AEW, and she got that push really quickly, and she beat Tony Storm for women's title All In last year, and she won it, and she ran with it for a few months while Tony Storm was on vacation, of course. And immediately Tony Storm comes back and she wins the belt at Grand Slam Australia, that disastrous show Tony ran in Australia where
even they were like, get out.
It's supposed to be a pay-per-view and a rugby stadium, and instead
it was just like a collision. They just ended up being had a collision there.
Ended up being a collision taping, basically. I mean, that's all it ended up being. So that was a disaster. Really. Tony Storm won the belt.
Disaster 101.
And let's see, and yeah, she's gonna go to WWE because it was her dream for years.
I mean, NXT, or is she going to the main roster?
I would guess NXT, and the reason why is because they cleared out the NXT women's division. Right now, Stephanie's on Raw, and Julia's on SmackDown, and Jordan Grace, it looks like she's going either to Raw or SmackDown too. She's being called up soon.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if that's why they didn't have the draft, because you notice they used to have drafts now in WWE around the time of the football ones. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like, I thought they would do the draft after WrestleMania. It's been a few months and they still haven't done it. So I'm guessing
I'm guessing that's done. They're kind of done with that. Yeah. I mean, rightfully so. I mean, stop trying to be like football. Football's trying to be like wrestling.
Well, that's that was the Vince thing. He decided to start doing drafts every year after WrestleMania to switch up the rosters for Raw and SmackDown. But it's like the Money in the Bank. It's kind of run its course. I mean, I don't like the Money in the Bank concept. I mean, it's run its course in my opinion, but they're still kind of doing it every year because it's a big pay-per-view. It's like, hey, whoever wins it, it's going to, be a world champion most likely.
Yeah.
Most likely.
I miss King of the Ring. No offense.
Yeah.
I mean, again, if it wasn't for Kurt, Brett wouldn't have been the first King of the Ring. He put his friend over. I mean, really. They canceled the draft for now, and they'll just do trades. I mean, that's what it seemed like. Because Drew McIntyre left for SmackDown, and now he's on SmackDown.
Yeah.
We could see that coming. I mean, he was kind of fed up with the whole Jey Uso thing and the Gunther thing. Yeah.
Steven has a beef Women in WWE not getting TV time or enough TV time. Concerned most of the NXT callouts will get lost in the shuffle. Cool having Evolution. Keep it a permanent PLE.
They probably will get lost in translation, but I mean the ones like Stephanie Valkyrie,
She won't.
because she's really over and she should be, rightfully
She
so. I
won't
mean,
get
I see
lost.
the talent in her, and I wasn't even hardly paying attention. And I like her more than I liked, Bianca or Naomi. And I'm not really much for those guys. Io Sky, not much for her. Rhea Ripley, yeah,
I
she's got
don't like.
talent. She's
I
got that
don't like.
talent.
I definitely don't like Io Sky. I mean, they put this belt on her for no reason, and it's like and like, oh, I mean, is she still the champion? It's like whoever gets the money in the bank, I hope they get cash in on her and just
I
forget
hope it's Stephanie.
average.
I would really like to see an NXT girl who just came up. I mean, it would be,
That would
a
be
really fast push,
yeah,
but
that would be a really fast push.
yeah. So I'm
Yeah,
thinking maybe she may like be the kind of the last woman in with like maybe Rhea Ripley, but I could see, Rhea coming out on top.
that would be
Um
like a
I
really
loved
fast
her
push.
promo. I loved Rhea's promo where she's just standing there like this
Yeah.
and very serious face. I like that promo. That was good. I mean, it told the story of Rhea Ripley is coming for that belt. And rightfully so, she should have it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just ridiculous that she had to drop that belt it's a random episode of Raw. She dropped it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
for free
here's the
TV.
thing.
Well,
Yeah, here's the thing. I mean, she had this feud
not
with
free.
Bianca Belair. She had a feud with Bianca Belair heading to WrestleMania, and
And
where's
now
Bianca?
Bianca
She's
is
gone.
literally, yeah, I mean,
She
Belair is
disappeared.
on SmackDown, right?
Yeah, now she's back on SmackDown after like a vacation. I'm
Yeah.
like, you just dropped a feud between Rhea Ripley and Bianca
But now
Belair.
they want to tell the story of what happened between her and Jade and Naomi. So they had to kind of
Yeah.
finish that up with the loose ends. They kind of left loose ends with the Rhea Ripley and Belair on Raw, and then Belair went to SmackDown. So they traded, and Belair went to SmackDown because they're not going to get that into Io Sky and Rhea Ripley.
We kind of got lost in we kind of went away from Mount Mariah May. What I was gonna say is my guess is she's gonna end up in NXT and winning that women's title from
I
JC
could see
James.
that.
Yeah, because they cleared out the women's roster in NXT for a reason. It's for to build the women's division around her being the champion. While
Well, let's
JC
see
James
where I don't see. When it comes to AEW guys coming over to WWE, show me that talent that you had in better than AEW, because AEW didn't teach you how to wrestle. I want to see the talent like Stephanie Valkyrie, who was an AEW person, right? Wasn't she in AEW?
she had one match in AEW when she dropped
One match.
the women's strong title to Mercedes.
Okay, so she
had
had
one
match, right?
Mhm.
But yet you can see the talent in her. You can see that she's going to be a star. And AEW didn't pick up on that. Penta was from AEW. Of course, you have Ricochet, who was fucking nothing, and that's why he went to AEW.
Yeah, we kind of went over this. That's Punk, AJ, Americano, and Liv, Ivy, and Niall. Liv, Ivy, and Stefan. Oh, yeah, Vakor. Okay, I missed that. Sorry. So we talked about this before, and Steph said she hoped Punk's wins, but
I really do. I hope CM Punk wins. CM Punk is growing on me. What can I say? But for Mariah May, what I want to see from her is I want to see her talent. I want to see what she has or what AEW was, ramping and raving about her. Wasn't she in a lesbian action with Tony Storm or something?
Yeah, they were initially together, and Mariah May was Tony Storm's protege, and they like implied a lesbian angle, and then they kissed a few times, and so Tony Khan is like a horny teenager, like see women kiss each other.
But
That's
Tony Khan needs to realize is lesbians don't like men. Okay. If you have two lesbians, they're not going to go for the guys. Okay. Bisexuals, yes, will go for men. But lesbians don't like men. They don't like them.
Yeah, and
So yeah, Stephanie Valcour could do double duty. That's what we were
yeah,
saying earlier.
yeah, she's probably gonna work twice that day.
I would like to see that. I mean, I see nothing but great things. I like the horns she has on her head. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's unique, and it's going to get her over, I suspect. So
yeah, I hope they put her over.
Yeah, she's gonna be in that Money in the Bank ladder match most likely because right now, unless they give it to Liv Morgan, but I don't see because she's already women's tag team champion, so she really needs to
she doesn't
compete for
need
the
that
briefcase.
belt. Yeah, unless she's gonna lose that tag team belts to XYZ. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know who.
Pick a women's tag team, right?
Yeah, that she would lose to it. That they would lose to because the women's tag team division doesn't exist.
Right.
Like who? Like Liv and Raquel have not even defended those titles in like what 3 weeks or whatever. I mean, they don't even have opponents.
But I mean, now we have on SmackDown, we had like literally a As the World Turns, or the Young and the Restless, fucking a soap opera between Naomi, Jade Cargill, and Belair. I actually watched that segment going, what the fuck? What the hell is this? I mean, guys, it's like a soap opera. Like, why aren't you returning my calls? And she literally admitted she broke in this woman's house. She broke into Belair's mother's house.
The update on Vince's lawsuit or Janelle Grant's lawsuit against Vince. Laurinaitis turned evidence. Turned on Vince,
yep.
And now he's providing
turned to the state's case.
Yeah, he's providing evidence to Janelle Grant's lawyer against Vince.
Boy, talk about a sellout.
Yeah, he dropped. So Janelle Grant dropped her lawsuit against Laurinaitis in exchange for that information against Vince and WWE because that lawsuit is still pending against Vince and WWE. So
again, I'm not saying Vince ain't guilty. I mean, Vince is a let's just say it's he literally was a true billionaire, acted like he owned everybody, and literally, I mean, there are credible women who literally said, Vince, yeah, I mean, he told me I had to do this or my career was bunk.
Vince has a decades-long history of abusing women. Going back to 1986 when he allegedly assaulted Rita Chatterton, the referee that he had working for him, the first female referee. And it goes from there to the Ring Boy scandal. It goes from there to the steroid trial. It goes from there to all the women he allegedly assaulted during. Oh, no, he booked himself in angles with women over and over again, kissing them and stuff.
Kissing them. Trish Stratus. Stacy Keibler.
He's the booker, and he booked himself in these angles with these women.
With these women, so he could look, like powerful. It was powerful for him.
All the firings, they've ruined the women's tag team division. Yeah,
I mean they really did. Steroid trials back in the 80s. Yeah, I mean he's had a history of abuse, and this just goes to show you that money and power literally go all to your head and make you a horrible person. I'm not saying he's not guilty, but I also think that she also was a willing participant, at least for most of it. You don't just show up one day in Vince's building and you want to meet Vince McMahon, and people are like, oh, she was down on her luck. She was a poor person. No, she wasn't. She was in a high-rise apartment. And let me tell you something. Poor people don't have that kind of money. And she was fucking an attorney.
Yeah. So, in fact, who called John Laurinaitis a coward is Teddy Long, who used to be the general manager of SmackDown and worked for Vince for decades, or for at least 20 years. So Teddy Long now has a podcast, apparently. So let's see.
What Laurinaitis?
That's a coward. That's what you call a coward.
Yeah, I mean,
okay, if you was in there with the man, and if it's true, you know what I mean, just tell the truth or whatever, and be done with it. That by him copping out and stooging or whatever you want to call it, that ain't gonna. That what's that gonna do? Absolutely nothing for him. He may get off, may get free,
he was a part of it.
May not get convicted some, you know what I mean? But he's got to live with that for the rest of his life.
Yeah, he stooged on Vince. So
well, but he also was a part of it. I mean, he was doing the deed with, he was helping Vince abuse these girls, and I mean, I do see where Teddy Long is coming from, and I see where Damian is coming from too. I just don't think that Vince is going to get it all. I think Vince is done. WWE is done with Vince, whether he wants to admit that or not. So
I don't see TKO
I just don't
selling
see
it back.
TKO saying, yeah, okay, Vince. I do agree that if there are any charges or anything that criminal come out of the lawsuit between Janelle Grant and Vince McMahon, I can see Trump pardoning him. So, yes, I do see that part of it. I just don't see TKO bending the knee to Vince.
There's also
maybe.
a federal investigation against Vince for these allegations.
Right.
Of course, the Trump administration has kind of put a halt to that, but it's technically still open. So
yeah, they put a halt to it because Linda McMahon is the Secretary of Education. So of course, yes, she's a politician. So they're going to this whole thing with Vince is probably not going to go fucking anywhere. And if it honestly did, again, these are billionaires with other billionaires, and billionaires help other billionaires. They don't help poor people. So I do agree with you, Damian, that if there are any charges for Vince McMahon, Trump will pardon him. Because again, Trump and Vince are like this.
Yeah, those are federal charges, so he'll definitely probably get a pardon pretty quickly.
Right. So here we go again, but I just don't see, unless there's some shady shit going on in the background that we don't know about, which can happen. I just don't see TKO bending the knee to Vince. But again, we don't know what's going on in the background, and there are rumors that Vince was trying to get WWE back.
Yeah, that's definitely, I saw that.
So, I mean, maybe Vince doesn't like the path that TKO has taken. That's too bad. Too bad, so sad, Vince. What goes around comes around, and you're finding out.
There's a video that I wanted to play about the top 10 things Vince would hate about today's WWE, but we didn't get the clips this week. Probably next week.
It's already 9:46. What the hell?
Yeah, I know, it's almost 10.
Not like this, man.
Yeah. So we'll get to that next week, most likely. But they talked about the advertisements on the canvas, which Vince would have hated, or still I'm sure he hates now, because Vince always saw the mat as sacred. So that came from his father, Vince Senior.
Right. Yeah, he would hate the fact that it's kind of like a NASCAR race now, and all these different sponsors are on the fucking mat. Yeah, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, yeah.
In fact,
well, Vince also hated wrestler. Now they're saying wrestler again.
Yeah. In fact, Kevin Nash told the story on his podcast about how Vince had a multi-million-dollar deal from Budweiser to put the Budweiser logo on the canvas, and Vince turned it down.
And made sure that nothing like that ever came into existence, because it's literally where he didn't want to be like a NASCAR thing, where he had all your sponsors. I think they should do that for politicians. Yes, that's exactly what we saw.
Jonathan Coachman claimed that Vince wanted to buy it back, and I'm sure he does. I mean, I'm sure he regrets selling it.
I'm sure he doesn't like the way TKO is going. TKO sees WWE as just a business proposition. They can get, this is why they pulled out of New Orleans, because they can get that cash from Vegas or anyone else.
Vegas.
Sucks to be you, New Orleans. But I mean, it's almost like, and I agree with Jim Cornette, because he was saying it's like TKO is like going to the highest bidder. WWE is going to the highest bidder, and whatever the highest bidder says is what they actually do. Because I mean, they see it as a business and nothing more.
The thing that when I talked about on Saturday Night's Main Event, their main sponsor was a company called Dude Wipes, which is like wipes for men, to when they, these wipies things.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I mean,
why would you sponsor
commercializing themselves? They got commercials on top of commercials. I mean, Raw has become like literally one big ass commercial. I'm like, really, commercial? You just can't. You literally came back from a commercial 2 seconds ago, and now you're going to another one.
Yeah, it's too much. The sponsorships, their sponsors all over the mat, to the point where you could barely see the canvas. I mean, it's just one, two. It's like UFC. You've seen. I'm sure you guys watch some UFC fights. The canvas is just full of advertisers.
I'm sure these guys have. Yeah,
it's full of advertisers and full of ridiculous things. Like, there's basically. WWE has a Dude Wipe sponsor recently. I think they had video games, which is fine usually, but it's on the canvas now. They have, I think they have like they still have that Prime advertising, but they
Yep.
barely. That's like on the corner, like on literally like on the outside of the ring in the corner, and nobody can
Yep.
see it. So they're not really advertising that much. Yeah, we did. I did see Demolition getting a
All
6-year
right,
wrestling
go
contract.
Demolition. I love
Was it
I
Roy
can't think of his name.
Darso? It's Darso and
Yeah,
somebody
Barry
else.
Darso and
Yeah,
Bill Eadie.
yeah,
Yeah.
Bill Eadie. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Bill Eadie. He's pretty cool. I seen a shoot interview with him on WrestlingTitleMatch.com. And man, he's just a really nice guy. Really
Yeah.
nice guy. Him and Barry Darso, so nice guys.
The issue with Demolition was they joined that concussion lawsuit against WWE when Vince was in charge. So Vince never get offered him anything until recently.
I know, right? Who the fuck wants to drink a Great American beer or something?
Just get
I
rid of
totally
Hogan's
agree with
beer
that.
logo.
And Damien, yeah, I agree that I just think Vince is starting to see that it's being just commercialized, and TKO doesn't really give a fuck. It's kind of like WCW before they went under. You know, you had a whole bunch of people on the board of directors who really didn't give a fuck about WCW, and that's why it went under. So I think that's maybe his mindset is, hey, they just see this as a fucking business, and this is not a business. It's, it's entertainment. It's sports entertainment. Yeah.
When Vince was owner of WWE, he did better storylines Triple H is giving us right now.
I mean, that's up in the air, though.
It depends of which era you're talking about.
Which
you're talking about the 90s,
are you talking about? You talking about the
Attitude talking era? About the 80s and 90s. Yeah, you can make that argument. Vince, I called him senile Vince at the time, right before he retired, because he kind of lost it towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, these storylines make sense. Now they're starting to make a little sense.
He would start stories and then drop them randomly, and then start new stories and then drop them randomly. And he would just do stuff like that. So I would call him senile Vince. And he pushed guys, he like Austin Theory, he pushed him, and as soon as he was gone, Austin Theory was exposed and basically just dropped down.
Yeah, I mean, rightfully so. I didn't really like Austin Theory. I was kind of like, what, who is this person again? And I agree with Steven on, get rid of the Hogan beer. Nobody gives a fuck about Hulk Hogan and his fucking American beer. Nobody's fucking drinking
it. Main channels for a one-on-one interview with the dissidents. So they're going to talk about Israel's, my guess. If I remember correctly, I did read the description. I just forgot right now. So that's at 10 o'clock in about 10 minutes. So yeah, let's see.
See, our time is going way too fast, but no, I completely agree. And it's just as bad. I mean, because again, Hogan came back and he was literally booed. He was booed. Nobody wanted to see Hulk Hogan. I mean, how can we miss you if you don't go away? But we don't want to see you, Hogan. Go away. And I felt so bad for Jimmy Hart. I couldn't believe that. Like, he had to take all that shit
because he's still friends with Hogan, so he came out with him, and it didn't go well.
No, it didn't
at all. So yes, anything else? There's something else, like a report that I saw. I wanted to.
Yeah, rest in peace, Rick Dillinger. Dillinger. Sorry,
Rick Dillinger. Yeah, he did. I did see that. So.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, there was something else because the Flair thing we talked about, which I want to thank I forget who it is to reminding me. I'm sorry if I forgot your name. It's in the chat somewhere. So let's see. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I forgot.
Steven Chambers, thank you for reminding us about the Ric Flair thing. And fuck Ric Flair.
Yeah, I mean, that was
that was a low blow, dude. I don't care if it was a joke. You don't joke about that kind of stuff. Again, Ric Flair, you're not a comedian. You were barely a wrestler and not a very good one.
I remember. I just wanted... There's a lot of internet fans are complaining about Carmelo Hayes' push. And I'm like, he's not getting over. He's not getting over.
Yeah, he's not getting over because I don't know who that is.
He's the black guy that came up last year, from NXT, and he's with the Miz right now. So that's where they put him with the Miz, and I'm like, oh well, he shouldn't be with. I'm like, he's not getting over on his own. They put him with the Miz to hope maybe he gets over with the Miz, helps get him over.
I mean, if you ain't getting over, guess what? There's nothing you can do. Literally, fans don't want to see you. I mean, they wanted to see everyone in, literally John Cena is so over, and let me make this. Seth Rollins is a heel, and he is so over that the fans will still sing his song.
Yeah, I have a I don't know why they didn't change the music, because that whoa, it's still the fans are still,
still chanting it. They're still doing it.
So they got to change his music, because it's not, they want to be a heel for real. They need to change that music.
Right.
At least,
just like they did with the older guys. I mean, technically, even though he was a babyface and a heel, Kurt still had the same music. But I mean, you couldn't sing Kurt's music.
Yeah,
right. I mean, it was just background music.
Like, it wasn't something that he would sing. So, oh yeah, that's what it was. Do I have? Wait, I think I have it. Last week we were talking about the cage match, and here it is. So the
we talk about Jesse when he was talking over the ring announcer. He's like,
because it's like you were talking about the whole pinfall thing, and why is there a referee?
Yeah, why is there a fucking referee in the ring? Because there never seemed to be one before.
So this account, Alan Cheapshot, he tweets about wrestling history and stuff.
Oh yeah, I love him. He always tweets pictures of Kurt, and
I don't follow him. I thought I did.
This day, Kurt became this or something.
Wait, let me follow him. I thought I followed him. Maybe unless the Twitter unfollowed me from him. But this is a WWF World Title match between Bruno and the original Sheik. This is original Sheik.
Oh, the original Sheik.
Yeah, from Boston Garden in Boston. Anyways, this is a match where Escape the Cage came from, because Sheik wouldn't do a pinfall loss.
Right.
So before then, there was a referee in the cage in the 1960s. From Vince Sr. was running it. So this new Escape the Cage thing came from that, because Sheik wouldn't take a pinfall loss to Bruno. So that's why, so I didn't realize this until he tweeted it out, that the referee they were actually refereeing the cage until after 1969. So I wanted to show that it's history, an interesting bit of history, so Sheiky, or original Sheik, wouldn't take a pinfall. I said Sheiky like it's Iron Sheik.
It's Sheiky, baby.
Yeah. Sheik wouldn't take a pinfall loss. So Vince Sr. came up with the idea that escaping the cage would win the match. So because Sheik wouldn't do a job to anybody. I don't remember him ever losing. I mean, even Andre couldn't beat him. He wouldn't take a pinfall loss to Andre.
Wow.
It's like so he ran the territory in Detroit. I think Jim Cornette told the story where Andre was coming into the territory. He's like, the fans were like, okay, somebody's gonna finally beat Andre or beat Sheik. Immediately, 2 minutes into the match, or 3 minutes, he blows a fire into Andre's face. He goes outside the ring. He steps out, or he falls outside, and Sheik wins by countout.
Wow.
So he still won. It kind of killed the territory, because it's like, oh, well, nobody
big time.
Nobody can beat the Sheik. So not even Andre. So hell with this. They stopped coming, and the territory went under. So
wow, that's like talk about not doing a job for someone. I guess the Sheik was like that.
Yeah, it's like it's Andre. I mean, just take the pinfall loss. What the fans wanted. Or that's what the fans wanted Andre to kill you, and just take it. It's like, oh no, well, I can't lose, so let's just I'll beat you by countout, so it's not really a big deal. It ruined the territory after that. So
I think steel cage should just be either you go over the cage or you go through the door.
Should be,
because if you go through the door, that's kind of like a heel thing to do. So
that's why
I didn't like when it became pinfalls or submission. Because they kind of almost stole that from the WCW. When they would do war games, it was if you would submit, then you lost war games, right? So I don't like the referee in there.
Damien Carmelo needs Trick on the main roster. I mean, I could see Trick Williams. He's in NXT right now, and they used to be together. They used to be a team basically, and Trick Williams right now is the TNA World Champion. So. Joe Hendry dropped the belt to Trick Williams at the
That's
Battleground
right, Joe Hendry, because I think he's coming. Is he coming to WWE? Because he was
Yeah,
TNA.
yeah. When his the pretty much when his contract is up in TNA, he's coming straight to
So they're
WWE.
gonna put Joe Hendry on the main roster of
Most likely,
WWE.
he'll
Get
end up on
out.
Raw or SmackDown as
Well,
soon as his
everyone
contract is up.
on X, everyone was like, that we believe in Joe Hendry. I couldn't get into that. I'm not really much for that, because
Hell, he was at WrestleMania this year. I mean,
yeah, he
imagine.
was. Yeah.
So yeah, we do need to start wrapping up. It is 10 o'clock. So and Indy has his live stream up there on the main channel.
Steven Chambers, I know you're still in chat. Please send me a direct message on X if you can. If not, click on my my YouTube channel, and you should be able to get my email from there. Once you look in the about section.
Yeah, the
so
about
please,
section.
please direct message me or email me. Please, please, please. I would love to have you on, and we can talk about Kurt.
All right, so we do have to wrap up. It is 10 o'clock. Go up to the main INN channel to watch the interview with the dissident. Indian and dissident will be on there talking about Israel, I'm pretty sure. And we talked about Israel most of the episode yesterday, Angel in the
Yesterday,
afternoon,
and I got pissed off. If you want to watch me yell and scream, just go watch that.
Yeah, WWE is going to offer Hendry more money. TNA, yeah,
oh yeah,
that's why he's going
TNA
to WWE.
But it's a good thing that TNA has that. At least they have that, contract, or
they're working with WWE.
Yeah, they're working, nicely with WWE right now. Yeah.
Yeah, so make sure you check out Angel in the Afternoon every Friday at 7. We won't be back next Saturday. We'll be watching the pay-per-views.
Right, we'll be watching Money in the Bank and talking to each other over DM.
So
I'll be like, this sucks.
We'll be back Sunday at 7. I'm
Right.
assuming that Alex will be back with us to do clips because
hopefully, if he's not watching a NASCAR race.
Yeah, because usually NASCAR is usually on Sunday, so that's why last Sunday he wasn't with us when we did the Saturday Night Main Event review.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Make sure you like and subscribe to this my channel or INN the Ocho channel, whichever channel you're on, because I'm not sure. Some of you may be on my channel, some of you may be there. Subscribe, hit that hit the notification button so you get notified when we're live. You can follow me on Twitter. It's at Angel J Rivera 08. So I'll usually post when we're going live. The links and stuff.
And if you'd like to follow me, if you'd like to talk about old wrestling, I'm showing a lot of Rick Rude matches, a lot of Rick Rude. We also show some Bret Hart matches. We show a lot of matches, even though they had really nothing to do with Kurt. But I mean, but we do. I just did a battle royal with Kurt. I believe the next one is coming. It is the battle royal. He actually, on Saturday night's main event, Mr. Perfect actually wins a battle royal. I shit you not. But it was just for money. It wasn't like for a belt or anything. But I think he was already Intercontinental Champion. I think they should have put him up with Hogan. But again, they axed that in 1990. So this is Saturday night's main event. We go over that will coming out tomorrow, 9 o'clock on Rumble. The links are on my X. You can also check that out on Thursday at 8 p.m. or 8 a.m. On YouTube. I would watch the Rumble version though, because I don't have to cut anything out. Where in the YouTube version, I have to cut a lot of the music out. But so check that out. We are going to talk about the battle royal that he wins. If you'd like to listen along, or you like to watch Rick Rude matches, like old time wrestling, come over and see me. The links are in the description field. If you'd like to be on the show, Steven Chambers. Let's talk about Kurt. DM me or send me an email or something. Say I'd like to be on the show. We'll talk about Kurt Hennig. If you've actually met him, I would love to talk to you about him. So links are in the description field. If not, Angel can put them in the chat.
Yeah, they're already in the chat, so you just scroll up and they're there. And I know the Knicks are being blown out. The Yankees are getting their asses handed to them. Not a good day for New York sports. So
thanks.
Yeah, so we're gonna be wrapping up now. Make sure you come back with us next Sunday at 7 because at
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah. And Angel in the Afternoon is going to be this Friday at 7. I expect Alex and Witchy able to come on again. That's great,
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm going to thank everybody for watching. We'll be reviewing Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank next week, so check us out for that. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, click the notification button so you know when I'm live. Occasionally, a lot of times that doesn't work, but still click it just in case. If not, follow me on Twitter at AngelJRivera08 so you can get notified when we're live. And have a nice week and take care of yourselves and each other, and good night.